And welcome to Advanced Shouting alongside Michael Barkscan and Dan Petru. My name is Noah Fogelman. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to do a draft preview in a little bit with Sportsology's Russ Cohen. I totally forgot the draft was next week. It's crazy.
We all did.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a few other news items in the world that have popped up in the last 24 hours. So
yeah, a couple of things. Poor Rick Moranis, but hopefully he's okay. Yeah. But yeah, I guess.
Hey, little monster Stephanie.
Yeah. Hey, Michelle. We will do some cards later. I got some doozies this week. And yes, we'll talk the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And the parade.
The parade, yeah, that was pretty sick.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have to get – with everything going on in the world, we definitely have to touch on the parade. But I guess we should talk about the on-ice performance first, right?
Yeah.
Okay, before we do that, please subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your help. So please, I know it's so great at promoting us. So please subscribe to the channel. We need all the clicks we can get. We love you very much. Now moving on to the game. That's how you do it, Noel. All right, to the games themselves. Yeah, that's how many masks I saw at the boat parade. One. Yeah, it was definitely it was Tampa was clearly the best team. Kudos to them. They deserve the cup. It's good to see guys like that moment that Stamkos had. Fantastic. Great to see Hedman win the cup. We're going to look back on this team in 10 years, and there's going to be 5 or 6 Hall of Famers on this team. This team is a fantastic team. I'm glad they got their cup because you never know when the team window closes. Kudos to the Dallas Stars. They weren't as good as Tampa. They played their asses off, and they gave them everything they could handle. So the bubble was successful. The players' sacrifice and everything they went through was successful, and we appreciate it. I appreciate those players being away from their families for 3-4 months, being stuck there in Edmonton. Toronto, sure, but Edmonton, oof. Being stuck there.
That's not nice. I've been to Edmonton. It's nice.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there. But they made the sacrifice to give us entertainment, and they did a great job of it too. They really did a great job. They made the sacrifice to give us entertainment. And so Tampa wins the cup, and the bubble was a huge success. No corona positive tests, and they take it back to Tampa and shit over everything.
I would make sacrifices in a bubble for a few months for $6 million.
Yeah, of course you would. Yes. You would do like 6 Hallmark movies in 6 weeks.
I would for $6 million. I'd go in a bubble for 2 years.
Yeah.
So no, the NHL did a great job. They really did. Yeah, and Tampa, like you said, was the best team, and they're loaded. We know repeating in this league is such a hard thing to do. Props to Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, but they've got all the pieces to do it. So be interesting to see when the season starts next year. First of all, what the format's going to be. Is it going to be 82 games?
Right.
Watered down version. By then, will there be a vaccine? Will Corona be under control? Is it going to be bubbles? I mean, playing a season in different bubbles seems like a really difficult logistical thing to achieve.
Yeah, and if they want to talk about playing an 82-game season starting at January 1st, let's say, that's a lot of games to get in if you want to start the next season on time. And right. I don't see them playing 4 games in 5 nights or playing 4 days in a row. So it's going to be tough. You can eliminate bye weeks. You can eliminate the All-Star game. It's still going to bleed over. So maybe
you probably have to do 60, right? Maybe 60 again.
Most, and which would still be an exciting.
That'll be fine, right?
And also, there's the Tokyo Olympics, which NBC has, and I don't know when that actually starts.
That's the Summer Olympics, so they don't play hockey then.
Well, the Stanley Cup,
right. Would they dump the Stanley Cup to what channel? Wait. That's a great question. Let's take a poll here. All right, we're all going to answer. Which NBC channel would the Stanley Cup get relegated to if the Olympics were going on? Let's start with you, Michael. USA. Okay, go ahead.
USA. Univision.
I was thinking Univision as well too.
I thought you meant it had to be an NBC affiliate.
Yeah, but they have tons of them. So
okay, so it would be streaming, just the Peacock or
streaming only. Yeah, on the app. But you only on Peacock. You have to pay the tier up.
That's right. And you can only watch.
Wait, I have to complain real quick. The Liverpool Arsenal game the other day, during the middle of the day, 3 o'clock, I go over to NBC Sports. It's not there. I go on the app. It's not there. It's on the highest pay tier of Peacock. What kind of shit is that?
It's because it's a cup that no one fucking wants to watch. There's too much soccer.
No, it's Arsenal and Liverpool. You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't. You're right. But the fact
moving on. I just had to complain about that because are they ever going to start tiering like the games on Peacock for hockey? That would be terrible.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
But you know what? The story that came out today, the NHL contract is up next year. NBC's contract.
Right, I saw that story.
That ESPN might want to get back involved. I hope not. That's a terrible idea. Not just because Dan and I work there. We saw how they cover hockey. It's like the fourth probably most important sport. Now they'll just sandwich it in between a wrestling event and pigeon table tennis or whatever. But
pigeon table tennis, that's a different kind of table tennis.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a terrible idea. And I think they're just in it to raise the price up for NBC.
Hi from Melbourne. Great way to start the weekend. Hi, Terry. Melbourne happens to be my favorite city on the planet.
Wow.
I spent many years, not years there, but I went there many times for several years. I love it there. Kalpana. I'm in a bubble. I'm in Buffalo. That's just like being in a bubble.
Or being in Canada. Although he'd be much safer if he was in Canada.
I hear Buffalo.
Manders, hello, and and Michelle. I'm not going to read your comment about my soccer team. I'll just say you made a comment about my soccer team, but we will not mention it.
Yeah,
so is Russ here yet? No,
Russ is there, but Michelle said Arsenal lost. So
thanks, asshole. Let's bring in Russ.
But I am going to read Manders' comment about loving my haircut. It's first haircut in literally 7 months. I feel like I lost 9 pounds. I took my hat off at the hair Fantastic Sam's, and the girl who does my hair was like, "Holy shit!" I mean,
you kind of look like Drew Brees right now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't.
Minus the low-key racism.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next show I show a picture of my son Zach's hair. Because that is.
Dude, you need to pin that child down and cut it.
I'm grooming it. So
dude. Or you gotta cut it off and then take it and make like a hair wig?
Absolutely.
This is in the 70s. You can't do that to children anymore.
If he gets
his head looks like a mushroom. He looks like Toad.
Yeah, and he likes to wear bandanas now, so it's like he looks like Roger Federer. It's
yeah.
Fun.
Oh yeah, he has all that athletic talent that oozes through his veins with that gene pool.
Yeah, let's skip to generation.
Let's get to Russ, please. Come on, right. Bring him in.
Without further ado, the NHL Draft is next week. It's 2 days. The first round is Tuesday. The rest is on Wednesday. Who else? Talk draft. Our good friend Russ Cohen. Russ, how are you?
Guys, how are you?
How you doing, Russ?
Good. So can I answer some of the other questions?
Absolutely.
70 games, Bravo, and the card set should be the Alias Rittenhouse set. I opened that. That was a good set back in the day.
Oh yeah, we showed one of his cards with him with a submachine gun and running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like a Victor Garber piece of his jacket card. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome. And by the way, it was an assault rifle. It wasn't a submachine gun. Okay?
Oh, whatever. Same thing. I'm glad I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
That's true.
Sadly,
right, so this is
I've been playing Call of Duty for 10 hours a day for the last 6 months of my life.
That is true. Yeah, you're like, oh, that has a scope and it has a silencer and there's a flash muzzle and it shoots grenades. Yeah, right. So Russ, it's a little weird with a midweek online draft, pretty much. How does that make your work? Is it easier or more difficult? Usually, you have a whole weekend. You're there in advance. You get to talk to all the players. How will this be different from you with it being a social distancing draft, so to speak, with it being online?
Yeah, it's different because I don't get to see everybody. My wife's seeing me all the time. She's on the couch now, so she's really happy about this. She wrangles all my pets while I do these shows. But no, it's interesting because like Sirius isn't going to do it live. They usually do it live every year. Usually I'm on the draft floor and I do like a pre and post each day. Right. They're not going to do it live this year because apparently technology would be too much. It'd have to be 4 or 5 on a Zoom, a producer on Zoom. You have to pipe into what the NHL is doing. You're going to try and get guys on. It would be a technology. It would be a miracle if it went off without a hitch, right? So the way it's going to work this year is they'll have a show live, pre and post, and I'll be on those for day 1 and day 2.
Nice.
Will you still have the same access? Because when we listen to you on XM Radio at the draft, you guys are getting players left and right. You're getting general manager, scout, everything. Will you still have a good access to the teams?
Yeah, they're going to have access, and I'm sure they'll probably just do interview shows after the fact, or tape them and put them on. I'm not sure how they're going to do that because I won't be on that. But yeah, they'll have full access. There's no doubt about it.
Sorry, I'm still laughing about Bravo.
Hey, Andy Cohen. I ran into Andy Cohen on the ice last year in St. Louis. And it was funny because my last name's Cohen. And so like I walked up to him, I took a picture while he was looking at the cup, and I interviewed him. And he is a big fan. He is a huge Blues fan, big hockey fan. It was fun to talk to him because I've watched Bravo shows. I admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. 90 Day Fiance is kind of awesome.
I mean, I kind of like
it's really
the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I kind of like, and I still watch that. I wrote a Ranger book with John Halligan, and he lived in that neighborhood. So I visited him a few times, and I would see sort of what life was like around there. And that's not what life is like in most of New Jersey. So that's why I watch, because it's just truly bizarre.
Right. It's as Dana Bash said on CNN about the debate, it's a shit show.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right.
Yeah. And we're still waiting for that instant poll that's coming up any second.
Yeah.
But
that was so weird.
Yeah, it took literally 45 minutes for the instant poll to arrive.
I know, you kept texting me. It's like, should an instant poll be instant?
Yeah. That's just being a TV nerd right there, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. That's what we do now.
Back to hockey.
Yeah, back to hockey. Yeah, so Rangers have the first pick.
Yeah.
Obviously, it looks like they're going to take Lafreniere. What type of player are the Rangers going to get, Lafreniere?
Well, they're getting a guy with top-line potential, but if they're smart, they don't start him on the top line because Panarin's a left wing. Panarin really can't play the right side. He hasn't really done it. Leave it alone. Put Kreider on the third line. Doesn't matter. You've already signed him. He's making his money. Let Lafreniere play on the second line and not play with like Kakko. Let him play with some veterans. Let him play with whoever they're going to end up probably trading for to play 2C this year. And that's probably the right move for him because he's got great vision. He's got great speed. He actually can play physical. So like he got suspended once last year for a hit. And so he's not going to take any guff. He's a good two-way player. He's not going to be on the penalty kill or anything, but later in his career, I could see him being on a penalty kill because he'd be also a deadly weapon to have him out there. But in his rookie year, I could see him getting 50 points because if he gets any power play time at all, the way he passes, his vision is already elite, and his skating is as good as a lot of NHLers already.
So my wet dream of the Rangers being loaded at wing and really needing maybe a center and picking Byfield and Lafreniere falling to my Kings at 2 is probably not going to happen.
It's not. And you know what the other thing is, and Dan could attest to this, when the NHL gets fans back, whenever that is, the Rangers really need a guy that can market anyhow because the fans, they lost attendance in MSG. And so a guy like Lafreniere could do that. And look, they'll sell a lot of jerseys. Like there's no question, no slight to Byfield, a great player, but Lafreniere will sell 2 or 3 times the jerseys. So all those things kind of matter for the Rangers because they're high rent district. So that's where it really is a benefit to them. Well, you saw what the Devils did. They basically drafted Hischier over Patrick because they knew they could market Hischier, and Patrick is really hard to market. And you know what? They did make the right decision in that regard, and sometimes that plays into it.
Now, do you think so we all assume that he's the consensus number 1 pick. Yeah. Will the draft is there any doubt at number 2 that the Kings will go with Byfield? Or
there is doubt.
Okay. There
is some doubt. Tim Stutzel's a guy who what?
Because he's such a Kings fan and he wants the 6'5" center.
Oh, okay.
I want it so bad.
Look, I mean, Tim Stutzel is a guy that they're talking about, and by them, it's not the Kings. A lot of teams like, hey, maybe he could play center like Pierre-Luc Dubois transitioned over. Now, we just found out that the DEL is not starting until December. Because the NHL is probably going to start in January, it's possible now that Stutzel just comes over here and doesn't even play in the DEL this year. If he does, he's not playing center, right? He probably doesn't play center for a couple of years if he plays at all. I think he's a winger. When I interviewed him for a long period of time, he basically told me he probably would end up being one of those wingers that takes faceoffs in the worst case scenario if he doesn't become a center, because he's been working hard on faceoffs since the World Juniors last year. So the problem is now everybody says, hey, the Kings are loaded at center, and they are. They have the best center prospects in hockey. But someone like Gabe Vilardi with a bad back, hey, you know what? Maybe you put him on wing so he doesn't have to take so many faceoffs, because he looked great in his short stint last year. And I think Vilardi's, prized primed to have a big year. So if you bring in a guy like Byfield, hey, you know what? Byfield will be a rock solid center for 10, 15 years. It's his natural position. He's strong. He's fast. He's great around the net. He doesn't play as physical as you think he would, but I think that might come out as he gets older. But there's a frame there to work on. He's got a great shot, but his speed is actually surprising. Like his straight line speed is really good. I think from what I hear, I think that team is split right now on those two guys, and they can make an argument either way. I still, in my mock draft, had him going with Byfield, and I still think in the end that's what they're going to do. But, it depends who's going to yell the loudest and make the most sense in that 5-minute period that they're going to have,
Yeah, I mean, Kapari and Turcotte and Anderson Dolan and Akil Thomas is he?
He's not a center, no, but you have Velarde. He's the other center.
Velarde, yeah. I mean, Lizotte making the team out of camp last year was a surprise, but just any of those kids getting to play with Kopitar for at least 2 or 3 years to, be taught by one of the perennial Selke nominees every year would be a great thing for that team.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Now, does the draft really kind of start? Well, there is some doubt at 2. But does the draft kind of start at 3 with Ottawa, since Ottawa has the 3rd pick, the 5th pick, and then the 29th or 30th? The 29th pick?
Hold on.
The 29th.
28th.
The 28th, okay. So 3 picks in the
28th.
first round. Is that where things start to get a little interesting?
It does. And I think Pierre Dorian sort of painted himself in a corner a little bit because he said, hey, the first guy we draft, that he's going to play in the NHL. And it's like, look, as a prospect, I never say that that's a good thing. It should be based on the player, not on who you're taking at that slot. So if he sticks to that, he's definitely not taking Jamie Drysdale, because Jamie Drysdale should not play in the NHL next year. He's terrific, but he needs a year or two, still outside of the NHL to get ready. I think this is a situation where they're hoping that Stützle drops to him so they could say, yeah, we got him and he's going to play in the NHL right away. If the Kings take Stützle, I don't know. If you take Byfield, you should not rush him to the NHL. He's one of those guys you can make a good argument to go play in Europe this year and let him, like Austin Matthews did, and really let him build up everything, strength, confidence, a little more speed, and then come and play in the NHL, because he's not going to help the Kings this coming season. Nothing can help the Kings this coming season. But I think in 3 years, the Kings could be a playoff team.
Right.
I think they're trending that way. They've got a terrific backup goalie. So, I think they're in really good shape. I like Peterson a lot. I watched him in college, and I have a lot of faith in him. So I think when Quick is done, you've got your other goalie already. So I think, that part is good. So I think Ottawa, with that first pick, is going to get somebody they think who could play in the NHL right away. So if it's Stützle, that's fine. And then that 5th pick is where they could sort of gamble a little bit, but that's going to be up to Steve Yzerman. Who does Steve Yzerman take and leave for Ottawa, right? Because that's what's going to happen. So on the calls the other day, I was like on last Saturday on the NHL calls with prospects for like 3 hours, maybe. My wife was reading, I think, at that point. But I was on those calls, and one of the things with Perfetti, who is a great kid, he's like a math whiz. He talks about how he uses geometry on the ice with his great passing. He thinks the game really, really fast. He's the smartest guy in this draft on and off the ice. So those are things where you would say, hey, that's a lot like Steve Yzerman. Now, he needs to work on his speed a little bit. He's still at 111 points, so obviously, had a good year. But he does need to work on his speed a little bit, but everything else is there. Playmaking, shot, all of it. And so on this call, Yzerman kept the screen black. His name was up on the Zoom screen, but he didn't partake in anything, no questions. So you don't know what he was doing, right, or what he was up to. But he did that probably to play with the kid's head. And apparently there's another GM that does that too now in Zoom interviews to sort of see if he's going to crack under that. But Perfetti's a really mature, smart kid, and he didn't. And so I think there's a chance that Perfetti goes there because Yzerman sees a lot of him in that player and said, hey, I got the Red Wings going as a franchise. Maybe this kid gets us going as a franchise. So if that's the case, then Ottawa's in a pretty good spot, because then if Drysdale were still there, I would take Drysdale. I wouldn't even think twice because, hey, you have Shabbat, but they need more defensemen anyhow.
Sure.
So for me, it's like go Drysdale, go Raymond, go Holtz. Holtz doesn't get talked about enough. He's a guy where I think he could go there, or I think Holtz, if the Devils could get Holtz at 7, that's a team that needs a sniper. This is the best scoring guy, the best sniper in the draft, I think. And he's also a great passer and a really good skater. He needs to work on his skating a little bit. He's one of those guys that has decent speed but not great mechanics. And so that I think that's something that they can definitely work on with him. But look, he's playing every day in the SHL and he puts up points. So right now, I think Ottawa's in a good spot there. Now, if you're talking about the 28th pick with Ottawa, that'll be interesting because I could see them trading that, because a lot of times what happens is as you get the draft gets compressed and we're down towards the bottom of the draft, a lot of teams want to get into that early part of the second round for the guys who fell to get some of those players. You know, what we saw the Flyers trade up for Carter Hart, right? That was pretty smart. Got their franchise that way. I don't know why other teams didn't take them, but they didn't, right? So that could happen again, and I could see Ottawa trading that pick to do that with other teams, and maybe they get, you know, a player like they got today, like a Josh Brown or something, somebody they could use on their roster, and maybe that's something that they do, because I think they still have 12 more picks. I mean, they're low. Wow. Yeah. They had 13, and I think, you know, because of that Brown trade, they traded it. So it's a lot of picks, man.
And you mentioned Carter Hart last year with Spencer Knight, this year with Yaroslav Askarov. Goalies are always, you know, a little crapshoot in the first round. I think in your mock draft, you had him going to Edmonton.
I do.
Yeah, you don't see any scenario where Ottawa maybe trades down a couple picks and then selects him?
Well, all right. So Eugene Melnyk, in his great wisdom today, apparently said to somebody in the media, or it got out that, hey, he'd love to get Askarov with the 5th pick. The problem with that is I don't know if Eugene Melnyk realizes, like, this kid's going to get paid a lot of money in Russia, and he'll decide when he's going to come over, basically.
I know a lot about that.
Huh?
I know a lot about that.
Oh, yeah, with Sorokin. And Shesterkin, look, 24, right?
Right.
And so I see Askarov playing 2 to 3 years there like Samsonov did and then come over. I don't know if Melnyk realizes that. So do you really want to put a 5th-round pick on that? And again, you have to get better as a team. If you don't get better as a team, do you think Askarov's rushing over to the NHL? No. He's going to get and come in on an ELC. He would rather get a couple $1 million a year or $1.5 million or whatever in a paper bag and get paid in Russia and get that for a couple of years, you know? So I think that won't happen at the 5th pick, because I think they'll talk sense into him. But you can make an argument, hey, Buffalo can use him, Carolina could use him. A lot of teams can use him, but a lot of teams still worry about goalies, and then they worry about Russian goalies simply because they don't know when a guy will come over and play. And if your need is more pressing like Ottawa, you probably don't want to wait 3 years. But if you're a team like, let's say the Kings didn't have a backup and you were going to use Quick to the end of his contract, hey, that would work out. The transition would work. But, you know, that's the way a team has to sort of think about it with Askarov. And Edmonton doesn't have great goaltending. Whoever they get or keep, I mean, they're going to get him on a 2-year deal or something, and then that would be perfect for him. And, you know, if you don't think a kid would want to come over and play with Draisaitl and McDavid, of course he would. So I think that's a good fit if it happens. Carolina could use him, but the problem with Carolina is they need him now.
Right.
and he can't come over now because he's playing in the KHL. So best case scenario for them is he comes at the end of the season. But again, now you're telling a guy to just transition straight into North America as like an 18, 19-year-old, where again, Shesterkin was 24. That was a little easier for him to transition in with the Rangers that way. So.
Well, I guess you brought up a good point here, because you talk about the still there is that fear of Russian players and if they stay in Russia. Now, with the pandemic, there are some fears here too when you're drafting players now. With the uncertainty of the college hockey season, do you think teams might be a little wary about drafting kids now? Or actually, 2-part question. That's the first part. Will there be a little hesitance because you don't know if these kids are going to be playing right away? And how do you think teams are dealing with prospects they already have in the college system and be concerns about like a Spencer Knight? A goalie needs to play. If there's no college hockey season this year, what do you do with a high-level prospect like that?
Yeah, the college kids are in a tough spot, but they are at their schools practicing and doing whatever they do in scrimmaging. And so that is going on now, and that's going to go on for a while because they're not going to play until at least January. I saw that the Ivies, which I cover out of Princeton, are going to start in January. The one thing about the Ivies is, you know, you can make fun of the fact that they play fewer games and whatever, but they're the smartest guys for a reason. And they have been doing everything right with the pandemic all throughout all of this. You know, it's not like the ACC where they have no brains. These guys are kind of smart, and they're going to start sometime in January. So Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a bubble. Did you see that, Russ? They're going to do New York and New England bubble. Yep.
Yes. And again, smart to do that, which I think the NHL may end up doing that too, because if there's a problem at the Canadian border, I could see a Canadian division early in, not division, but a lot of Canadian games against Canadian teams early in the season, and the same with the States, and then it progressively changing as you know, the border restrictions change. But getting back to that, some of those kids, there's nothing they can do with that. Some of the others, if you draft an overager, then you could actually, at that point, not worry about that guy going back to college and just say, hey, you know what? If you're not starting up till January anyhow, the AHL's starting up, you just go to the AHL. And so I think some teams may go for some overagers like that and do that, because then they don't have to worry. So does that mean there'll be a lot of 6th and 7th round college picks again? Yeah, probably. Not Dylan Holloway, though. And I'm actually going to post an interview on Sportsology probably tomorrow for Dylan Holloway. It'll be my last. I've done 20 or 30 between my site and other sites. But the fun thing about Holloway is, I didn't realize this, but he got a box. Well, he's getting a box. He didn't get it yet. That will have a box of all 31 hats in the NHL, because if you're a first round pick, they're going to, just say, hey, wear that hat when that team picks you, right? So that's a fun thing that they have to do this year that they didn't have to do in other years. And I saw a picture. It seems like the Wild screwed up their hat and they put the state of Minnesota upside down.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if that's so. I don't know if that's fixable. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Someone texted that to me, and it was like, uh-oh. But for those college guys, they'll still get drafted, but those guys are committed to the universities. They're still going to class. So, there is just going to be a longer wait period for those guys. There's not much you can do about it. The ones that are gifted enough, like Holloway, he will have a choice, because even though he didn't have a lot of points last year, he was great on faceoffs, good on defense. You can make the argument if he wanted to leave Wisconsin, go to the AHL, he could. But that's up to him, and who knows what a team will lead him to do. He seems like a really smart kid, so he'll probably still want to go to Wisconsin for another year or two so he can graduate early. That's what most of them do now. They graduate early, and that's, it's different than the NBA. The college hockey guys, most of them end up graduating early, where the NBA guys go 1 year, go to the NBA, and a lot of times just never go back.
Is Noel on?
I'm here. No, are you frozen? Oh, okay. You're just hanging out?
No, all I see in his box is a black box with a spinning circle. I swear to God, I don't see it.
Oh, really? No, I thought he was frozen because it just didn't look like he was breathing.
No.
Okay.
Right. Actually, that was Noel's impersonation of Adam Gase. That's what that was.
Oh, actually, that's a perfect segue. Perfect segue. All right, get ready to change the topic bar. All right, we know you're a diehard Jets fan. We know you cover the Jets. Noel is also a Jets fan too. So me and Michael are going to take a little step back here, and you two just discuss.
All right. I guess the biggest thing is we were sort of led to believe by this Chris Mortensen report and all that the Jets are evaluating Adam Gase, and maybe if they lose this game, he would get fired. Well, that's not happening. So now, and again, I don't think it's happening because I don't think Joe Douglas wants him fired, because I think Joe Douglas likes the fact that the team's tanking so he can get a high pick. So ultimately, Joe Douglas, the GM, didn't do anything to set up Sam Darnold for success or anybody for success. And he saved all his money for next year, didn't spend any this year. So right now, I said the other day, Rich Kotite is a better coach than Adam Gase. And listen,
that's a bold statement.
I know, but don't go by the record, because even though he had the 1-15 year, the other year wasn't as bad. And the other thing is, he's not working with an offense that gains like 3 yards a play. Rich Kotite was better than that, even though they were losing tons of games. So I don't know, Noah, where are you at with this team?
Well, at least Rich Kotite has had the decency to resign.
Yes.
This coach does not. He sets up his quarterback, who is going to be driven out of this town to fail.
Yeah, he got driven into the ground. I was like, oh.
With no penalty right there, which
was ridiculous. Yeah,
exactly. You look at the 3 biggest Jet plays of this year are all on his intuition. Biggest run of the year last week. He had that ridiculous throw to Barrios with the Niners, and then he had one other one. So it's not the brilliant mind of Adam Gase.
No,
it's all the intuition and all just the moves on the fly by this quarterback who has no one around him. The second best player, he's probably the first best player, Kai Becton, should not have been dressed yesterday And the fact that Adam Gase and Joe Douglas put him in there is criminal. They should be fired right off the bat.
It really is. I mean, you're talking about your offensive lineman that you want to be the guy who covers the blind side for whoever your franchise quarterback is going to be for the next 10 years. And half of his job is with his upper body and he's got a bad shoulder. So they say like 2 minutes before the game, oh, he's not warming up. So everybody's like, well, he's not on the sheet. It's not like he's deactivated. And so he didn't start. And so in typical Jets fashion, the guy who starts for him gets hurt play 4. So all of a sudden Becton's back in there on the 4th play. And I'm just thinking, if you're on, the GM of the Jets or the coach of the Jets, you had to realize that this could happen based on how many injuries are happening. And by the way, that turf that the Jets are playing on is lethal. Lethal.
It's sticky. It is sticky.
It's taking out players, man.
It's funny go ahead, Michael.
It took out half the 49ers.
It did.
The week before.
One of my friends said and you could see it now because you look at these other football stadiums, all these other new stadiums. You look at the Falcons, you look at the Cowboys, Chargers, the Raiders. These stadiums are Vikings. They're amazing.
They are.
And one of my buddies, he said, because I remember he has Giants season tickets. They've had him. His dad's had him since they were in Yankee Stadium. That's how long he's been a Giants season ticket holder. And he came out of that first exhibition. I go, well, how's MetLife? He goes, they spent $1 billion on that. There's no roof, and I think someone's walking around with $850 million in their pocket.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it is so generic. I went there for a couple concerts. I really enjoyed it for concert, but for a sporting venue, it is.
No, but they didn't have this much trouble in previous years. I feel like what they did was they had to replace the turf, and I think they bought the old turf at the vet, and all they did was respray paint it because that used to take players out too.
God, that was cement.
It was cement.
Yeah. Green cement.
I went to a Paul McCartney concert once, and we walked on that because they had like a padding on it, and it was brutal. It was cement, man.
When your knees hurt and you're just walking to your seat,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised there isn't an NFL turf guru like we have in the NHL for the.
That's a great point.
Yeah, you think there would be.
When I saw turf, that is because obviously it's different in different stadiums.
Yes.
So,
and it's funny because when the 49ers thing happened, I was like, okay, somebody's got to do something about this. And everybody was like, well, the Jets, they tested it out with the NFL and they approved it. And now this week it took out 2, 3, 4 more players, and it's like the hamstring injury. I mean, that was brutal. That was just like. I couldn't even imagine the pain that guy was in. I can't imagine they could play another game on this turf the same way. Like they have to at least pick it up and put it back down, do something. It's brutal. The whole organization is brutal.
Yeah, and even Raheem Mostert, who got hurt on that turf, tweeted during the game, it's like, see, I told you, they got to get rid of this turf.
His arms in a sling and he's tweeting in one hand.
It's like,
you guys have as many wins as the Falcons, the Vikings, the Eagles, the Texans. It's not that bad.
No, it's not. Well, the Eagles have a tie, so I don't know if that's worse or
better. It's worse. It's worse. They're terrible. Don't get me started. They're terrible.
But, and you know what? You look at the box score. It's like, hey, they scored 28 points. All right, not bad.
I know.
One was on the run. Sam Ficken had his game of his life.
Yeah.
And then only the Jets can have a defensive back with 2 interceptions, 1 for a pick 6, and have a terrible game.
Oh, yeah.
Only the Jets can have that.
Yeah. No question. Let's go back to hockey. It's less depressing.
Yeah.
Actually, before we let you, I just want to see, since we know your Jets.
Yeah.
We know you like another team that rhymes with Jets. Is there anything you like to add?
Hey, listen, I would. Okay. Steve Cohen, who's no relation, although I wish he was.
I wish he was too.
He actually brought everybody back to work. And he brought them within 0.5% of the salary that they lost before the Wilpons got rid of everybody. And that is a great move. If you think about it, for a guy who took over, the first move that he did, that's the move that he did. And you know what? The loyal employees, because, boy, they've been through hell during the Wilpon era. And so that was nice. And just because Sandy Alderson's coming in doesn't mean he's not going to spend his money. He's going to spend his money.
Yeah, look, the guy spent $92 million on a metal rabbit. Imagine what he's going to fucking spend on Trevor Bauer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, JT Realmuto will be a Met, and the Phillies fans will be really annoyed. And actually, Sixto Sanchez throwing today 100 miles an hour, 7 pitches in a row. That was the guy they traded for him.
Sanchez throws gas.
Sorry,
No.
fans, and I don't mean that.
Yeah, but you're not going to win them all. I think at the time, though, you don't. I think if you're the Phillies, you still make that trade.
No, you do. But the idea was get him here, get him for 2 years, but get him signed. And they never negotiated with him. Never.
Right.
And congratulations to the Marlins advancing to the Division Series.
Oh, I hope they win the World Series because that whole sport's a joke right now. So if they win the World Series, it'll be perfect.
I want to see a Marlins Padres NLDS.
You can't see the Padres; they're out already.
No, the Padres play game 3.
Oh no, game 3 is tonight. They'll be out. Sorry, you're right.
They hit 26 home runs last night.
Whatever. The Padres again. This is like the second time that they brought in like 1,000 good players, and
this is completely different.
And they're on the brink of losing again.
They're all homegrown pretty much.
Oh, not all of them. There's Machado. There's
Tatis.
Yeah, Tatis is. Yeah.
Okay.
Tony Gwynn.
Mark Langston. No, they have the #1 farm system.
You're gonna go Ozzie Smith? Is that where you're gonna go with me?
Mackenzie Gore's coming up soon.
No, but they did get a lot of players. They did.
Yeah,
but
they did.
We'll see. I mean, maybe they're not beating the Dodgers. They're not.
No, not at all. But they're just fun to watch because the whole season has been just an absolute, to quote Dana Bash, a shit show. Yeah. So to see a team just like them running around having fun, I think it's fantastic.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm as you are a huge Mets fan. As far as an ideal World Series, I'm struggling between Yankees Dodgers or Dodgers Houston. Because that would be a pretty saucy rematch.
It would be saucy.
How about Rays and Marlins?
No, but Dodgers Houston would be good because I think they'd still throw at them. I do.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if Kershaw was on the mound, he'd throw at him.
Yeah.
A Rays Marlins World Series would be perfect in an empty stadium. So it'd be normal.
That would be fantastic.
It would be really great. Yeah.
Actually, think about it. If the Marlins win and Don Mattingly wins his first World Series as a Marlin, how pissed off will Yankee fans be? Like, come on.
No, not at all. I love Don Mattingly.
No. If he beats the Yankees, if it's the Marlins over the Yankees, then how are they going to feel?
The Marlins in the World Series.
No, but not with Don Mattingly there. It'd be different.
I would never want Don Mattingly to coach my team. I don't want my favorite player ever to be fired by my favorite team. I'm perfectly fine that Don Mattingly's never coached the Yankees. I'm okay with it.
Agreed.
Completely okay with it.
All right.
Now, you've written like 650 books. Do you have a link you'd like to promote?
Yeah, sure. Pioneers of Baseball. It's a picture book, a photo book from the Albert Spalding collection. It goes from like the 1890s through the early 1900s. Wow. It's pretty cool. I added some extra things in there, like what food was like at ballparks then, and so that's a fun one. And then there's another one called Sticks and Stones. It's about college hockey, how that gets you ready for life. And so a lot of guys are in that. Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes. You've heard of these guys, at least the Calder has. And but a lot of not superstar players either. The Cates brothers. Your Islander Devin Taves, your Quinnipiac guy. Yeah.
That's right.
You should be buying it just for that. But at any rate,
by the way, great name for a book.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we the editor the owner actually came up with that because we were struggling. It was the first time in my career that I think I struggled for like a title for a book, and the owner came up with it. And we were like, you know what, we like it, and we just added that subtext to it. But it's one of those books that you could read about these guys' story as they're in college hockey, and the Makar one is probably one of the best ones. And we covered his Hobie ceremony too, so all of that is pretty cool. So Amazon, you catch me on Twitter at Sportsology. Good ways to do it.
When's the Jets?
Oh, no, go ahead.
The Jets book, we're working on it slowly. Like, I mean slowly.
Is it one page? Is it like the book of French war heroes?
It's going to be dark.
No, that's good though. You know what it is? It's going to be one of those that when you do it, I mean, I've written books on the Mets and it's painful. Like the Met book I wrote is painful because when you start pulling out like the Tom Glavine 8-run game, and if I start pulling out, like I was in the front, I was right in the end zone for the 80-81 playoff game at Shea Stadium when the Bills beat them. First 3 seconds into the game, Bruce Harper fumbles, Buffalo recovers right in front of me, and I was kind of buzzed from all the beer I drank, and I had to like rub my eyes, like, are they already losing? Like the game just started, and it was the first time they were in the playoffs in forever. So that is going to be a painful one to write.
Yeah.
I'll read it. I mean, I'll be impressed with you writing it, but Russ, we appreciate
My wife said that's one sale. There you go. She's counting already.
I'll put the signed copy though. All right. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Russ.
Thanks, Russ. Appreciate it.
And make sure you check him out on Sportsology and also on Twitter. And also, you can listen to him every weekend on XM Radio. He does the Hockey Prospect Show. There's no one better.
I'm going to log in and log out because I can't see Noel's face, and it's depressing me.
Okay. You're not missing much. But there is no one better when it comes to the draft. That's why we always, whenever we have anything related to the draft, we always bring Russ on. He is the Jedi master of draft picks.
He's great. Is that better?
There he is.
Oh, there you are. Handsome.
Yeah.
All right. A little bit of end of an era this past week. The Rangers bought out Henrik Lundqvist. We all kind of saw it coming. One of the greatest goalies never to win a cup. Of course, we had to throw it in there. But, I mean, one of the greatest goalies in hockey history. I mean, it's
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think he's I don't think he's done. I think, Michael, you said before the show you think it's over for him. But I think he's still going to try to find a team to get that elusive cup.
I only said I think he's done because of how uncertain the format of next year's season is going to be. If there's a bubble situation, I know maybe it'll be Eastern teams and Western teams, but the guy has played, what is this, like his 17th year or how many seasons?
Was he rookie in 05? He was rookie in 05, right?
Anyways, he's played in net for a long time, and that takes a beating on your body. And I think unless there's a team he's not going to go to Colorado. They don't need him. Where's the landing spot for Hank?
Colorado.
Really? They get rid of Francouz or
yeah. Francouz can go back to the minors. He's still on eligibility there.
That's true.
And then him and Grubauer. I mean, especially going to have a shortened season, they
could split.
Exactly. I think it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know Ranger fans are going to love to hear this. Washington. I think Washington. Yeah.
Holtby's gone, right?
Right. Yeah, and we're going to touch upon goalies in a little bit, but Holtby, will be gone. Samsonov, bring him in here to give him the reins.
What about Pittsburgh?
I think Pittsburgh. I think Smith.
Murray's gone.
Yeah, Tristan Jarry's going to be the guy. Colorado.
It's once again a 1A, 1B situation,
Carolina.
I think Capital. He's not going to Carolina. No. I think DC is possible. I think Colorado is possible.
There's no way he's going to a team where there's not a clear chance to winning a cup. And
I think living situation is important to him too, Michael. He's not going to go to Edmonton. He's not going to go to Calgary, although Calgary's beautiful. He's not going to go to Carolina. I think that's important to him.
I don't know. Maybe you're right. I think a dude who's made as much money as he's made and, has got an incredible future ahead of him, he could. Yeah. If Edmonton was as good as Colorado is now, he could suck it up and play 1 year in Edmonton and just.
What about Vancouver?
Vancouver would be.
You don't know if Markstrom's coming back, and you can ease Thatcher Demko into the starting role. They can once again 1A, 1B.
Actually, if you get Ekman Larson, so you're helping out the defense there. It's definitely an attractive spot.
Vancouver's close to being like a powerhouse.
Yeah. When I was working there a couple of years ago, I said they would win the Stanley Cup by 2002, and I think maybe not, but they're close.
Right. All right. So besides Lundqvist, there are a couple of the goalies. We mentioned Braden Holtby, who was not going to be re-signed by the Capitals. I think a lot of teams are going to learn their lesson that Florida did last year with Bobrovsky. They're not going to be contracts like that anymore with goalies.
No one's going to year. No way. Yeah.
So let's start off with Holtby. Where do you think the landing spot would be for him?
I don't know. I literally don't. Kings? I'm just going to say Kings everything.
Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say that too. I think that'd be a good landing spot for him.
Don't pay him. They're not going to give him 8 years. I think they'll give him 3 years, 20-ish, around 20.
Yeah.
I think that would work for him.
Right, and they're right there too, Carolina.
They're right there. They have the defense. They have maybe the one that they have the potential to have the best line in hockey at some point. Those 3 kids up front with the Svechnikov and Aho and Teravainen. They are loaded up and down. They have one of the best.
Probably. I'll give you top 5.
Okay. Yeah, but they are close. They are
Yeah.
absolutely close. Yep.
Yeah. All right, another guy, which I mean, all reports that he's going to re-sign with Vegas, but Robert Leonard still not done yet. You think he's staying in Vegas?
I do.
And didn't Fleury say he would stay in Vegas if Leonard did?
I think they're both going to stay there. I think it's a good setup.
I think Fleury gets bought out.
Well, it's got those new fancy sparkly jerseys now.
Yeah, those jerseys are really nice. So
I like them actually. Apparently, the photos don't do them justice. They have this iridescent quality to them.
Yeah.
It's really
I saw actually an actual picture of someone wearing it with a pair of jeans. I was like, wow, that's really nice. When I saw the actual picture, I was like, eh. But then when you actually see the jersey, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, Vegas tweeted out a whole reveal video with like Wayne Newton, and it looked really cool.
Wayne Newton, Jesus.
Check it out on
No, Mr. Papadopoulos, Papa Giorgio, Mr. Papa Giorgio.
Jacob Markstrom, we mentioned him. Had an amazing year. Got kind of hurt in the end of the playoffs. I think he resigns in Vancouver.
I don't know. Demko is really. I mean, he's pushing him hard, and I mean, I really don't know the answer to these questions.
Ottawa.
Come on, next.
Ottawa.
Ottawa has so much cap room. That's someone they can go after. He's not old. They can overpay for him. He's a good goalie.
Yeah, I don't know if a guy who can control his future wants to go to Ottawa.
No, but I think let's say most of his offers are 3 to 4 years because they're so much below the cap. Let's say someone's offering him 3 for 15. They can offer him 6 for 25. You know what I mean?
If someone's offering a 6-year contract, you're going to take it. But
right, that's what I'm saying. They can, if anybody can overpay, they can.
Well, they have
now,
to.
Ottawa's a place that Hank is not going to go to.
No. Right. But this next goalie, I think, is Thomas Greiss. He's not going to be.
Yeah, Greiss could actually go there too. You're right.
This is going to be a logical guy. They can sign him to like a 2-year deal.
Yep.
And, same money making now. I think it's like 3.5. So I think that's a logical, spot where you're not going to overpay.
Very serviceable goalie.
Yeah. And this guy, our last one, who is restricted free agent, but looks like they want to move him, is Matt Murray. He's won a couple of cups, a little inconsistent regular season, injuries too. What do you think a good landing spot is for him?
Detroit.
Ooh, I like that.
Detroit needs a goalie.
You need Jim
Howard spot for him.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot.
Yep.
I would say maybe Chicago.
They have plenty of prospects, plenty of cap room.
Yeah. Maybe Chicago. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Corey Crawford.
Chicago needs a goalie too. Yeah, but Markstrom could go to Chicago. That could be a good fit.
Yeah, that's also not bad. Or even go to Edmonton.
Players don't choose to sign in Edmonton.
Or Ottawa. It's tough. I mean,
that's true. That's true. No, you're right. You're right.
Although Ottawa's a beautiful city, it's just the rink is like 9 hours and one highway away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one like country post road to get into that arena.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like the Bill Stadium in Buffalo, as Mike and Chad knows about that one. All right.
Oh yeah. All right, let's get the trivia because I'm getting trashed as soon as the show is over. So let's go.
All right, trivia this week is franchise leaders with the most playoff points. So
just points, right? Not playoff points, just points. That's what it says here.
Yeah. I think it was wasn't it regular season points you had?
I had playoff points.
Oh, okay.
So
that's what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's what I have here.
Okay, all right.
Who wants to go first?
I guess Nolan will go first.
All right, I'll go first. I will say Wayne Gretzky for
He's actually the only player who has the most playoff points for 2 franchises.
Oh, you get to knock out 2 of them. Yeah, all right.
Blues, right?
This is gonna be quick. Brian Trottier.
I have to scroll down.
I could be wrong too.
It's not by team. St. Louis. I don't see the Islanders yet. Rangers, Maple Leafs. Well, no, he's got to have more points than these guys. There's no way. I must have missed him. Sorry. This is a terrible system. Yes, Brian Trump.
Okay.
Nice. Good. I'll say Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux, I'm sure. Yes.
Could be Yager. Could be Crosby.
Let's see. We should just scratch we should just scratch trivia for today because the system I have going is so fucking bad.
Okay, let's skip it and get the cards then.
Yeah, get the cards.
We'll regroup. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I had it organized by teams and I could just look under the team, but it's just giving me the players by rank. It was Sidney Crosby.
Oh, good. See? Hey, I won. All right.
Oh, we did it first. Okay. The joys of live web shows. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So we got some doozies, and we actually have a fan submitted one as well. So here we go.
Oh my God, the Berets.
We got Candace Cameron's husband and brother-in-law right here.
Jesus, check out the thighs on that kid. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Look at that.
Darren Hatcher at the rodeo.
Yeah. Oh, this is from Michelle. She sent it to us. I don't know which is better, the unibrow or the mustache.
Or those uniforms.
What the hell? They did it in the '90s. It was a rookie card, credit card.
Oh my God.
That's one of my favorite cards. That card is so bad.
That's amazing.
Requested one. This one was for my mother, who bought 5 of these cards. And not sure why, but hopefully they're worth a lot of money eventually. And gave one.
Look at Rick Hampton.
It's great. Yeah. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that card is great. He's wearing the mask, and being socially distant from the catcher, of course. So, yeah. But yeah, so if anyone has guest card suggestions, hit us up. We'll definitely put them on. It's running out of cards, and yeah. But the draft next week's crazy already. We've got 2 days of the draft, and free agency begins.
And free agency.
So we'll have a busy show next Friday.
Right. Free agency is going to be start. What time does free agency start?
Usually noon Eastern time.
Noon. Okay,
Yeah.
so by 5:30, that some of the dust will have settled. So we're gonna have We'll see if we can. Maybe we should try and get a reporter on. Yeah.
Or maybe one of the Lafreniere or one of those guys.
Now, I wonder what to do with those hats, the 30 hats.
I was just wondering that too. Do you give them to your friends? I would donate them, take them to Goodwill.
Yeah. I just hope there's one player who pulls out the wrong hat.
That's going to happen. That'll definitely happen.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There's no way that happens. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Look at the NBA where they get traded 6 times after they get drafted. So.
But one of you texted me something funny. I can't remember in one of our threads. And there's also 29 return labels.
Yeah. Got to take them all. You got to take them all to the UPS store.
That's how cheap they are.
Yeah, right. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. Check us out. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch.
Hey, you know what? I just decided something.
Oh wow.
When we have 41 subscribers on YouTube, right? When we get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to give something away.
Your virginity.
So I'm just looking at some stuff right here, and I've decided that
it's your virginity.
No, we're going to give away this Brett Hull autographed plaque for our 100th subscriber.
Wow.
Hall of Famer Brett Hull. I will mail it to you. We'll do a raffle. We'll go through our subscribers and we'll raffle.
Hang on, though. I'd like to add a caveat to that.
Yes.
It shouldn't be to our 100th subscriber.
No. We're all 100 subscribers. We'll do it. We'll do it a raffle.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the OGs who've been here since the beginning probably just do a few more balls in the lottery system.
Right. Actually, you know what? Let me see if there's anything else I got here. We got one. I'll let them choose. They can do Brett Hull or we can do Eric Lindros.
Oh.
One or the other.
Are you keeping the Ron Francis stuff for yourself?
Oh, fuck Ron Francis.
All right, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, search Man Shouting on YouTube. We'll see you next week, everybody.
All right. Have a great weekend. Stay safe.